Welcome to Bright Champs.
Hope you all liked and enjoyed our interview with Mr. Shivakumar Natarajan on International Tigers Day. If you have not watched it yet, please check the link for the video in the description. Today, let's start the part 2 of the interview where Mr. Shivakumar Natarajan, a renowned wildlife photographer, shares about photography and about his company Spots and Stripes. I met Mr. Shivakumar Natarajan in an inter-school storytelling competition on International Tigers Day in 2019. I really thank him for his valuable time for this interview.
Hello, sir. Welcome to Bright Champs.
Thank you, Darshan. Thank you so much.
Can you tell us about your company, Spots and Stripes?
Oh, yeah, Spots and Stripes, actually, it's a brainchild of two individual like-minded people. Vijay and myself have started this Spots and Stripes. Vijay is my friend. We work together in the same corporate, and we were playing cricket for the same cricket team. Then we started traveling together with the same passion of photography. Vijay and me traveled extensively across the country photographing wildlife. Then we started this particular company and we called Sports and Strike. Through this organization, we organize photography and wildlife tours across India, Sri Lanka, and in South Africa. We also conduct photography classes, on-field training for the young and budding photographers. We also organize wildlife photo exhibitions exclusively only for the budding photographers, just to showcase their talent. And we also showcase photography exhibitions with and interaction sessions with the school children, just to cultivate the interest of wildlife in the young age. As a social responsibility, the Spots and Stripes also extend their helping hand for the poor and needy at the different forest guards, the night watchmen, the drivers, guides with their different necessities like their clothing, their winter clothing, the rain shields, the caps, hats, sleeves, all those things. We also support these people. And Spots and Stripe also part of the volunteers who served during the forest fires in the Bandipur. So there was a huge forest fire a couple of years ago in Bandipur. Vijay, myself, and another friend of mine called Prashant, we were there in the Bandipur forest. We were helping those guards to put off the fires. We also carried a lot of food materials, medicals, all those things to the forest. And apart from that, Spots and Stripes, it's not only a traveling company, we also include our socio responsibility to get the awareness of the people about the importance of the nature and wildlife, and to stay with the nature for the nature.
Who's your guru in photography?
Okay, when I was doing my during my trekking days, I met a gentleman called Niranjan. He taught me from scratch. That means from how to hold the camera, what is the camera, how the camera works, everything. Till date he is teaching me. So he's my friend, philosopher, and guide with respect to photography.
Which is the favorite photograph that someone else took and why?
It's difficult for me to pick one particular photograph. Okay, and if you ask me the favorite photograph of someone else who took, I could pick three photographs. Okay, uh, this is not in any of the order, but I like one photograph by Mr. Mohan Thomas, called "Tiger in Rain." Okay, this was shot by him in Kaziranga, where it's pouring in the safari time, and he shot a tiger which is giving him the which is walking on the safari track and looking at him and uh, growling, and he got that particular shot, which is fantastic. Second, then I think one shot by Sudhir Shivram, where a vulture is feeding on a carcass of a spotted deer. The spotted deer is lying on the banks of Kabini River. The half of spotted deer is merged in the water, and the vulture is sitting on the top of the carcass of the spotted deer and feeding on that. That is another fantastic image of Sudhir Shivram. And I also like one image of Mr. Prakash Ramkrishna, where two leopards resting on a rock. One is a melanine leopard, one is a regular leopard. Both of them are resting on a single rock. So that is another amazing capture which I love. Apart from that, I also follow David Lloyd, who does a lot of monochrome, that is black and white images of African safari. So it's difficult for me to pick one of his images because I like most of his images, and the above three are the Indian photographers whom I like images.
Wow, that's great. At what age do you recommend to start learning photography?
Darshan, there is no specific age limit for learning photography or anything, or there is no specific age for learning anything itself. But it's always start early is always good. But I personally feel people should be at least of 12 to 15 years of age to start photography, because photography, there are a lot of concepts which you need to understand. At least to understand those concepts, to understand the usage of your camera, understand the equipment what you use, at least you need to be of 12 to 15 years. At the same time, I also prefer people uh, below 15 or 16 do the photography with their parents or with their guides or anybody.
Sure. Can you share some of the do's and don'ts for children when they start learning photography?
Uh, yes, Darshan, definitely. See, to start the photography, one need to understand which genre of photography is he or she is interested. So, genre means the subject. See, somebody may be interested in wildlife, somebody may be interested only in birds, some may be in wedding photography, some may be in street photography, some may be in portrait photography. Like different genre of photography is available. So first, one need to understand what is their subject of photography. Once the subject is decided, they need to get the subject knowledge. Subject knowledge means you need to understand the what is the basic required information for photographing that particular subject. Like if I would have chosen the wildlife, I need to understand when the parks are open, how do I book those safaris, okay, and some of the basic behavioral aspects of the subject. If I'm a tiger photographer, I need to understand how the tiger, what is the behavior of the tiger, what time the tiger movement will happen, whether it's in the morning, evening, all those things needs to be understood. So the subject knowledge is very important. To acquire the subject knowledge, reading books or the articles or even the Google, Wikipedia, all this will come to a great help. Or even talking to some of the like-minded people will also help you to get the subject knowledge. Once the subject knowledge is taken care, then to you need to procure the correct equipment for that particular photography skills. Okay, so you need to know what camera to buy, what should be the lens, or how many lens you want, whether you want a big lens, small lens, wide lens, all those things. Once you procure your equipments, you also need to understand what is the limitation and what is the benefit of those equipments. So once you are totally aware of what is your subject knowledge, and once you acquire the concerned equipment, then you need to start understanding the concepts of photography. The understanding concepts of photography is very important. Once you are thorough with all these things, you can do your photography. So whatever said and done, whatever the knowledge you procure and all, when it comes to the matter of photography, you need to work or you need to practice a lot. So These are the some of the main do's of your photography. Don'ts, I'll not say anything, don't do it, but these are the do's of photography. Once you understand what are the do's of photography, you automatically understand what are the don'ts of photography.
Thanks, sir. Your advice will help kids like me to start right in photography. So, which is the best place to spot wild animals like for photography, and what animals or birds can you spot in each place?
See, the birds, well, if you want to shoot the birds, you can shoot the birds even which is available in your close to your residence. Okay, so most of the birds you can do it. Apart from that, there are birds which are specific to the areas. See, if you're visiting somewhere of the Himalayan regions, you have the totally different colorful birds which very endemic to the Himalayan range. The East Indian birds are totally different. They are endemic only to the East India. Apart from that, there are some of the common birds like woodpeckers, kingfisher, parakeets, owl, nightjars, tree pie, flycatchers, which you'll normally find it in most of the forests. Okay, that becomes for the birds. And there are birds which are migratory like Indian pitta or what is that? Band band bay cuckoo, all these things you can find it during their season. So if you want to look for the wildlife or the animal per se, Ranthambore is a good place for tigers, leopards, and Tadoba is good for tigers and leopards definitely. Kabini in Karnataka is good for leopards and elephants. Corbett is very good for elephants. The elephants are really huge elephants in Corbett. And Kaziranga and Manas are good for rhinos, elephants, and most probably Bandipur, Kabini, all these places you find tigers. So these are some of the important things. So Assam is a good place to shoot rhinos. So Kaziranga is only one place. Gir in Gujarat is for lions. So these are some of the specific areas where you find specific animals like tiger, elephant, leopards. You will find it in almost all the national parks.
Wow, that's great. So, which is the most difficult animal to take picture of?
See, Darshan, it is difficult to photograph each and every animal or a bird if we don't have the adequate information or knowledge about them. Okay, spotting wildlife is one of the major challenges in Indian forest. One need to keep his eye open throughout the safari to look for the animals. Even some of the signs of animals will help us to find the wildlife. Like if I'm there in any of the tiger reserves, the signs such as pug marks or scratches on the trees or the urinary marks which the wild cat, big cats leave on the trees, uh, and the alarm calls of the prey when the predator comes. All these things help us to identify and sight the wildlife. Okay, it's not only that, there are some of the animal behavior which help us to make a better photograph. If I sighted an tiger, and if the tiger is sleeping, then it doesn't make sense for me to take around 50 or 25 photographs of a tiger sleeping. Okay, in some of those cases, if a tiger is yawning, then it gives us, it's an indication for the photographer that it is started it's going to start his move or his journey or something. Okay, similarly, the if the tiger is cleaning its paw, then it's an indication for the photographer that it's going for a hunt. So all these small indications which gives the by the animal will help a photographer to ease his work in getting the better output. Similarly, when we are shooting the birds, there are birds who clean their feathers before it flies. So if a bird is sitting on a perch of a tree or something and it starts cleaning its feathers, it's an indication for the photographer that it's going to fly. So similarly, there are birds which do the excrete before they fly. So all these small information, if we gather, And if we have enough subject knowledge about these animals or birds, it's not a very difficult job to shoot any of the wildlife.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, sir. It was exciting to have this interview with you and wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Darshan. Thank you so much. All the best. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel Bright Champs and follow my Facebook page. The links are given below in the description.